Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com, and I want to talk about the three-man militia meet and greet, and just some thoughts, some ideas that you need to think about, and a lot of it depends on a lot of stuff. But I want to give you plenty of ideas for the meet and greet team. And that's because they're the ones that are most vulnerable of all the militias. They're the ones that are most vulnerable. When you look at the odds are completely against them. They don't stand a chance in holy hell. That's why everything is on tactics. And everything, and you need to think about that when it comes to the three-man meet and greet. There's no detail you can overlook when it comes to a three-man meet and greet. And I've got tons of videos on the three-man meet and greet because, like I say, we don't want to lose anybody. And that particular position is the one that is very important. How they handle a situation will tell you how it's going to continue going. That's why their position is so important. And I've already talked about the weapons, what kind of weapons they should have, and how they should be carrying them, and the dress, how they act, how to profile. I've talked a lot about it, about all the tactics that need to be incorporated in getting your meet and greet team ready to go. And that's what I want to talk about now. I've mentioned, now I haven't put any of this part into practice yet, and that is a poncho. I think about having them dressed with a poncho. The reason a poncho, it covers a lot of stuff, and equipment. And that's the part when the intruder comes in, they're profiling you. And they'll be profiling the meet and greet team. And when they see the poncho, I'm not sure. One way I look at it is it's a good deal. It's a good thing. Because it puts a question on what it is, what do they have on underneath it. And I don't like to get into detail exactly about all the stuff that the meet and greet needs to have on them, because everybody is so different. I mean, you could be in the city, you have your meet and greet in the city, your meet and greet, you'll have one if you are, what do you call it, a refugee moving. Whoever's going to do the talking is your meet and greet, so whether you have one or three of you, they're the ones that everybody's going to be making judgments on them. And so that's why it's so important on this, the way that they dress. And the poncho, I question. One thing, you have all the equipment, it makes you look really cool, like the movies, and intimidating and all that. That might be kind of cool if you have all the equipment. Now, when you put the poncho over it, you can't see all that equipment. So now you're not all that intimidating. So do you want to be intimidating? That's something you need to think about. If you are the refugee going through and your meet and greet is the refugee, maybe you want the poncho so you're not intimidating. Maybe you don't, but you want to be intimidating. Now, I don't know. You have to think about it. So the poncho thing is kind of gets me. I'm not quite sure. Now, remember, in my mind, I think the first thing I think of is I'm set up in a small community way out in the country in Oklahoma. So by the time we meet refugees, they're either going to be lucky to get where we're at, or they've got good tactics to get where they're at. Now, that good tactics could be good sociable tactics, or they could have good combat tactics, and they fought their way to get to us. So this is what we have to deal with. Now, so that's what I think about when I think of the meet and greet team. And now I'm not big on a lot of equipment. I don't like having a lot of equipment. You got money tied up in equipment. It's hard to move around when you have all this equipment. It's hard to carry all this equipment. I mean, there's a lot of downfall with a lot of equipment. So one of the things I'm not normally in favor of, and that is body armor. And I've made videos talking about body armor all through history. There's always been a problem with how much body armor. When you go by weight, do you have so many pounds of body armor and equal pounds of weapons? Or how do you do that? There's no formula on how that works. That's where tactics come in. Tactics make up for a lot of body armor. Now, a lot of the troops now use body armor. And remember, once they start using body armor and the helmets and they don't, not just bulletproof vests. I mean, I'm talking about they got lots of armor on them. And once they do that, that eliminates their options on what kind of weapons that they're going to be using. And it increases their need for a support system because they don't have the mobility. They can't move. They need communications. They need a lot of things. These are all things I try to avoid. So, body armor. I do have a bulletproof vest. The only reason why I got it is I thought I better get it while I can get it. And will I use it? I don't know. What kind of body armor? That's the next problem you get into. What kind of body armor? Now, mine will take a 30-06 multiple shots on 30-06. So, because it can take on such an extreme bullet, there's some weight on there and there's some bulk. So that's why I'm saying I don't know. I'm sure you can get some lighter weight stuff that'll, that won't, it's lightweight, but it won't stop, maybe a handgun and that's it. But sniper bullets, I don't know. But so that's something that I think on. Another thing is I just ordered a bunch of bandanas, all different colors, because I like bandanas. I use bandanas a lot, and I think it's a good thing. Now, another thing after I ordered it, I think about it. Now I need to order some more, but I need to order white bandanas, white, and they'll still have some kind of a print on it, but it'll be the white will stand out. And the idea is I want to you tie it on the meet and greet team, you tie it on the end of their barrel. Now that end of the barrel, that barrel should be up. I've mentioned you don't point your gun at people. That's impolite, for one thing. And if you have your gun pointed at me, it makes me, because I don't know you, and you're pointing your gun at me, it makes me a little funny. I feel a little funny. Now, especially if what I say, you're coming to my area and you're pointing a gun at me, now just because I'm holding my gun and I'm holding it down or holding it up or whatever, and And well, you don't think I've got guns pointed at you? You're coming into my area. Of course I want to have guns pointed at you. Maybe not me, but there's other people somewhere that are pointing guns at you. But you're going to see me and my gun. And I'm thinking I'm going to put a white bandana on my gun and I'll hold it down or hold it up. And like I say, we have a 3-man meet and greet. All 3 of us will have a white bandana on our barrel of our guns. And the reason is white is for truce. I think everybody knows that. And so in other words, you're coming into my area. You should be holding a white when you're coming into my area. I mean, are you a threat? What are you? You're holding a white flag. You're telling me you're not a threat. And I would suggest, if that was the case, if I was the refugee coming into this area, I would have a white bandana on the end of my gun in the air, pointed up as I'm coming in. That's showing everybody white. It's I don't want no trouble. It's a truce, and it's pointed up. So when that gun comes down, now hey, you better watch out. That's why I'm talking about you, even us. We're going to have our guns down or up with the white flag on there. All these white flags, and for you to start shooting at us, we know that automatically tells us you're a bad guy. So that's no problem on that. But so I say that white might be something to think about on if you're setting up your meet and greet, whether you're a refugee or you're trying to control your area. And make sure these people respect that white flag. If they don't, you already know they're a threat. And we got to take care of threats one way or the other. This Mike, NoStressMike.com.